Welcome to What Are You Reading? A podcast with the Public Library of Mount Vernon in Knox County. I'm Christy.
And I'm Katie.
And this month, we decided to revisit some of the awesome books that we were able to get with our Celebrating Ohio Book Awards and authors. It's a COBAA LSTA grant, and it enabled us to buy additional copies of books that are by Ohio authors or books that have won awards here in Ohio. Mm-hmm. And this month we read at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. Mm-hmm. Again, this is one of the podcasts where we both read the same thing.
Yep.
So we always get ahead of ourselves and we start talking it out like 2 days before the podcast. So we kind of like hash out like, okay, this is how I was feeling, but how were you feeling about it? Mm-hmm. So this is another book, which Katie pointed out to me that we've had several books with similar themes lately. Mm-hmm. So this one is another one where we have multiple POVs, so lots of points of view. We're also moving through time. So we've got some, scenes in the past, we've got some present day scenes, and we're kind of jumping around a little bit.
Yep.
Katie, had you read Jacqueline Woodson before?
I have.
Okay.
Jacqueline Woodson, I first discovered her as like a YA middle grade author.
Okay.
She since has written some adult fiction. I actually used to teach one of her picture books.
Oh, wow.
I used to teach to my when I was teaching high school.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, she's a great author, and it seems like, especially with her adult books, they're all kind of lyrical. So they're prose, but they're not like strict, it was a dark and stormy night kind of prose. So, yeah, I found it pretty easy to read. There are 6 different points of view, but there is a big gap between each one. And it's within, like, one family, so it's not like Cloud Cuckoo Land where we're going all over the place. And for the most part, we start in the present, or maybe a little earlier than the present. And then we go back in time, and then we slowly go from back in time up to the present again.
Yeah, I had mentioned to Katie that I felt like this was a lot easier for me to read because of the lyrical nature of the writing. And I could really tell that this author had written for different audiences before because it was so easily accessible. There was no points where I was confused of, where are we? When are we? Who are we with?
Yes.
So that was very clear, which was great. I will say that I had a little bit of a complaint just because we had also had a book called Seamstress of Hollywood Boulevard where we had a character that wasn't necessarily like our favorite.
Yes, very unsympathetic person.
And we come here to a little bit of a similar situation.
Yes. Although she is like a secondary main character. She isn't the main character.
Yeah, which definitely helped because when you have a character that you really like, and her name is Iris, and we don't want to give too much away because I really do want you guys to check this out and, see what you get from it. But we have, like Katie mentioned, a family that we're following who is experiencing what it's like to just grow up and live an everyday life. So we have a teen pregnancy. We have how that affects the family. We see these characters go through what that means of having a baby into the mix and how that's affected the teens' lives, but also their parents' lives.
And the child. So the book opens on her 16th birthday. The girl's name is Melody, and her family has almost like a mini quinceañera where she wears a special corset and silk stockings and gets to dance with her boyfriend and her friends. And her mother had her at 16. So it's a little bit like Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Although her relationship, Melody and Iris's relationship is not Rory and Lorelai's.
No, not at all. Yeah.
So we do have some sexual situations in the book.
Yeah, trigger warning.
Yeah, it's not super graphic, and it's maybe sprinkled here and there. I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, I would say so.
Teensy little bit of drug use. But it doesn't really happen on the page. It's just...
Yeah, most things that I would say trigger warnings for did happen off page.
Yeah.
So I do think that although this is an adult book, that it's palatable for a lot of sensibilities, I would say.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And like you mentioned, unfortunately, Iris and Melody do not have the best relationship. Because Iris, upon finding out she's pregnant, there's that initial shock, but she is very much here for the pregnancy. She's willing to have the baby. She's very much involved. And then the baby's here, and it's kind of like I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. She's a super intelligent person. She's already had this plan of, I'm going to college. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to do all of these things. So she decides to do exactly what she had planned and leave New York and head to Ohio for college, leaving Melody behind with her biological father and grandmother. So we're seeing kind of this relationship of Melody relating as a teen to her mother, kind of going through all of those emotions.
Yes, and her mother having some very conflicting emotions as well, because she gets to watch her daughter do things that she was not able to do because of her daughter.
Yes. Which makes it a really complicated relationship.
Very.
Yeah, there were a couple scenes that were very, touching, or were definitely, made me as a mother think about the way that I am a mother of a daughter. So, how our dynamic is, and definitely the things that, I'm glad I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So, I think that it's, even as a child, I think you can relate, because this is very much a familial story. So anyone can really say, oh, I had that relationship with my grandparent, or, oh, I had that relationship with my single father, or, my single mother, whatever the case may be. You can find relationship in this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it definitely shows how decisions that you make affect not just you, but the people around you. And the consequence is kind of a negative term, but the results of those decisions last a long time.
Absolutely.
In some cases.
Yeah. Melody certainly feels a certain type of way about her mother because of choices that she made. So it's one of those books that I found myself reading it very easily, having a lot of emotion, but I definitely, it was all good. It was constructive. It was something that I looked forward to. So I don't want you to come into this thinking that you're not going to be able to relate to it, or it's just going to be kind of a downward spiral. Because, I mean, to be fair, we've read some downward spiral stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But there's something to take away from this for every point of view, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I agree.
I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah, and we've got plenty of copies, like I mentioned. So, if you like to come in and grab the physical, you can. I do want to point out that I actually listened to the audiobook. The audiobook is only about 4 hours long.
Oh, wow.
And because of how the book is written, and like you mentioned, the lyricalness of it, it was such a quick listen. The audiobook is fantastic. So definitely recommend it. Of course, you can find it on our app, Supla Libby. If you got a library card with us, that's totally an option. A lot of the time, I like to listen and read along at the same time. So that's something you can do too. But again, we really enjoyed this, and we want to give a shout out to all the work Jamie Lynn Smith Fletcher has done helping us get this grant, and the COBAA LSTA grant. We're just so grateful. So it's been a great program. So check us out again next month. We're going to be doing another Grant book we were able to purchase. So it's a little bit of a teaser. And then we'll be jumping into something spooky in October. So we've got a whole lot planned for you guys. So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, comment, all that great stuff. Check us out on Facebook, of course. And if you read this, please stop in. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear it. Love to chat with you. So until next time, bye.
Bye.